Hey everybody, Zyle here, back with another episode of Rad Bolts Not Included. Um, Went away for the weekend, so that's why I didn't post a video for a few days. Wanted to update everyone on where things are going. I'm basically in one of those cycles where pushing all my systems, I think, to the limit, power, water, and so on. It's all good. I hit these cycles where whenever this geyser goes into its dormant period, and its next activity, as you can see, is in 7.2 cycles. It's always dead for 30 cycles, dormant state. The issue is a large amount of the overall cooling and cool water comes from this being running. So whenever it dies off, I get into almost like a hard run for about 30 cycles. It's not that I don't have enough water, because between this one, the polluted one, and then the main salt one, I have enough water. As you can see, there's plenty of water in here. It's having enough cool water, and I was doing fairly well before when I was using this aquatuner system to bring down temperatures to help create the usable water. However, now because I'm using that cool water to help cool parts of the base and for other various things, I do hit a point where when it shuts down, then I have to switch over and start utilizing some of this polluted water through this water sieve, just to keep my water flow going. So it gets a little tense whenever that happens, and I need a solution around it. So I've gone at it, and ignore this broken pipe. This is when I was feeding the water into the system. I had it tapped in, right? I was just bringing it up from here and cutting it over, and then I just used the scissors to remove that section. But of course, inside here there was one pipe segment, because it's just cut, it's not actually removed, and of course the water eventually got heated up and turned to steam, and it broke it. So it's not that there's anything broken in here, it's just I don't want to go in and just remove it for I mean, it will eventually, but just cosmetically. So there's nothing wrong with this system, as you can see. Show here, it's running pretty much full blast. All it's doing is just taking hot water out, cooling it a cycle, and dropping it again, just over and over. Basically trying to get this pool to cool down, because I'm cooling it through the other system as well, but a lot of it gets taken out and used. So I figure if I just have one of them running, pretty much non-stop, that I can start actively cooling this down, and that'll just ease up. Because I did many moons ago have it where I was getting this thing down to about 40 degrees overall in the entire place, and everything was blending very well, and the water was holding up. But now, because of the strain I'm putting on the system, it's time for me to have to work on some more regulated cooling activity. So found space to kind of shove it in there, and it works well so far. So hopefully that's going to help ease up some of the pressure. We are making frost burgers. The problem is that I was encountering an issue where all the lettuces, because they're all planted at the same time, or all the water weeds, all of a sudden I get all the lettuce, they'd make frost burgers. But I think what was happening was either the frost burgers were decaying before they all got eaten, or the lettuce was decaying. So what I've done is I went and ripped them all up, and every 4 cycles, then one will be ready. So they're all staggered into their growth cycles, so that they will go through various stages, and basically 2 will be ready, 2 will be ready, 2 will be ready over the course of 16 cycles, because 8's supposed to provide me with enough for the frost burgers for 16 dupes. So that frost burgers have been more or less online, and I have ample food. I have now populated all these cuddle pip farms the way I talked about on this left side, and the pips on the right side are just slowly dying off. As you can see, these are getting emptied, and I'll just rip this entire thing out, because between the meat coming off of this ranch, the Drecos, and the slate wheat for frost buns, as well as a lot of times they're taking all 3 of those ingredients and making frost burgers. Food is not an issue. I don't have any starvation issues, as you can see. There's plenty of food. I can always fall back on berry sludge if I have to, but I tend to just stock that up, just one fridge full, so I have it for my rockets for when they go into space. Speaking of rockets, did what I talked about last video. I shifted all that old apparatus over here, so now the radiation locks are all in here. A couple of air for the pilots when they want to take an Atmos suit, it's down here. This door is just basically permission blocked off except for the pilots, and I switch it on and off as I need to with this switch. So right now it's off because I'm not doing missions where I land, so I don't need Atmos suits. Added 2 more bays and decided that I would make these 2 to be for the Radbolt rockets, and then these 2 will be for steam. These ones will more or less be mining missions because I'm going to have to get gassy moves going. And so I'm thinking I'm going to do that somewhere up here because they are going to need a window into space in order to call others, as well as the plants that they feed off of require liquid chlorine, which I mean, it's makeable, but it's a bit of a hassle and a power drain to make liquid chlorine to cool it down enough. And you need a source of chlorine gas to do that, and I don't have one. The chlorine I have has just been from some bleach stones and various things, and I have very little amount, and I don't plan to use it for much. But it won't be able to be used to feed the gassy moves because I'll need 6 of them going. I did get very fortunate though when I was looking at my star map and discovered within a 5-tile mining range. These are both within 5 tiles, so that means the steam engine rockets can get there and get back. So. Steam rockets can be turned into mining rockets, and I can mine both of these. And certainly this one is very good because it gives me more sedimentary rock. It gives me gold, fullerene, refined like that's all good stuff, but especially the gold, because now I have a refined metal that I can keep on going and getting more of and bring it back just for using for things that need refined metal, and gold is an excellent source of that. As well as if I ever have to make bleach stones, gold is used for making bleach stones, so and good to find. So this is a very good one for me to keep just consistently mining. But then right beside it, radioactive gas cloud, and look what it has, liquid chlorine. So the other steam rocket I will build will be going to there to mine liquid chlorine and uranium ore. And the uranium ore I will eventually need just to feed my beta hives. But especially the liquid chlorine is what I'm going to be after, because that's where I will get the chlorine necessary for the gassy moves. I've already preemptively added a large liquid cargo tank to my system, redid things here, so I have a gas unloader, liquid unloader, 2 gas unloaders, and then a liquid unloader. So I'll be able to bring back the liquid chlorine and store 27,000 kilograms worth of it inside the large liquid cargo tank, and then use it to feed the plants for the gassy moves. So that's kind of a setup I'm starting to get geared towards. I need to design a few more rockets. I need to get a few more pilots. I've gone and built another level of rooms. This is all new. Moved everything up a bit, and then I can bring in 2 more dupes from this reverse silos. I'm going to take these 2 dupes and move them in, skill scrub them, and make them to be pilots. And then I'll add 2 new dupes to live in the base. So that's all the direction I'm going in. All the utility buildings and stuff, I'm going to end up putting them all in these levels because basically I don't need these pips. This whole area can be cleared out and used for other stuff. So it'll all be for utility buildings, like skill scrubber, things like that you use once in a while, but not that regularly. They artifact research things, so on. So that's going to be great that this cuddle pip system has actually worked as far as population-wise and for the amount of meat it produces, that I am going to be able to eliminate basically 50% of my footprint of what I had before for the setup. And I'll reduce it even more once I get the brackine going, because I'm pretty sure that I can get it down to, this one with brackine holds 18. So I estimate I'll need 4 of these style of plants, or maybe it'll just be 3 of them and 1 or 2. I might eliminate 1 more spacing I'm not entirely sure how I'm going to rearrange all that, but certainly I'm going to have the room to do it. So this might even all get changed completely, and I'll build the ultimate setup all in here, move everything over, and then use this as a utility area. Not quite sure, but I know that I've gained a lot of space within my base by being able to get rid of the branches. Yeah, so so I'll be able to get 4 rockets going. Did it anew for both, since I have 2 rad bolt rockets. I've now gone, and I don't have Weezeworts. I have to get more, or hope that I get a seed drop through the what is this thing even called? The printing pod. Randomly, sometimes you get them. I find that you get about 1 every 150 cycles on average. So over time, I will get more Weezeworts going. But even now, this is working sufficiently to fuel up the rockets. And did it sort of like what I did from my diamond press, where I have a center core of radiation, and then 2 presses on the outsides, and it's the same thing over here. We have a center core of radiation, and then we have 2 sides of generators that are filling each one, with automation system, of course, so that if the rocket's not here and this is full, the storage, rad bolt storage is full, and then the generators shut down and they don't produce anything. If this needs to be filled, then it will, but this will not fire them up into it unless the rockets is here. So pretty basic system, but it just allows you to not be wasting rad bolts and energy, basically, because these things do take a lot of energy, about 2,000 per side. So I don't want them ever generating and working if it's just to fire them off into space and it to be wasted. So, and then these 2 will be wired up. This one's already wired up for the steam system, and I'll do the same for this one when I'm ready to add the 4th rocket. And like I say, these will be mining rockets, and these will be excursion landing missions and so on. This one that's out in space is still the one that's doing the research and exploration activities. However, this one is going to have 2 beds in it. I want to be able to get 2 dupes in, so I can pull off landings on the new asteroids, similar to how I did it many cycles ago when I landed on the Loilaila planet the first time, where I took 2 dupes, dropped one down. He built a rocket platform, and then we landed the rocket, and they were able to do their thing. So one thing I've run into, though, with the Frostburgers is I'd only ever gone and managed to pull off getting 1 full tank, not even a full one. I just got some natural gas, but now the natural gas is come to an end. So Frostburgers are actually offline, which is fine. They can eat barbecue and frost buns, and there's more than enough food for everyone. Frostburgers is of course the goal. So I need to go back there, but the problem is that I'm getting desperate for steel, and even though I'm slowly making it, I moved my refinery down into this little cubby hole here, and unfortunately right now the coolant that I'm using is from the fluid water geyser, and I don't have anywhere else that my polluted water is really going to, so it's going into my pinch of pepper plants, which they drink it slower than I would like, slower than the output. So this is a slow churn for making iron and steel, but it's fine. I'm low on steel, and I need to generate some, because over on Soilola, I got to come back with steel. The problem is that things were getting a little bit too hot in here, and for the hydrogen that was coming out, and the hydrogen generator that I had wasn't made out of steel, and I didn't have enough steel to build it out, use steel, and so it burned out. Now, I'm pretty sure I could come back here for 1 mission, load the coal generator up, and use it to pump natural gas enough to get my Frostburgers back in line, and I'm probably going to end up doing that just to get another load going. But yeah, I need to come back here with a construction style dupe, but bring steel with me enough to build the hydrogen generator. Right now, I think I have like 200 kilograms, like I have a little bit, but of course the hydrogen generator needs 800. So So I got to bring steel back and get that going on and firm this up. I had started to flesh out the designs of a permanent base because I do want to settle this planet with a dupe or two, because there's some pretty big objectives going on. There's the Somnian synthesizer, which I really want to get done because it allows a global buff for all your dupes, which is really good. There's also a neural vacillator, and I actually have recharge back at the other base. I'm not sure where it came from, but I have one, so I can use this twice on a dupe if I want to, or use on 2 different dupes. And then this guy here, we did knock on the door, and then I see what the next steps are. I need to deliver 3 unique food items that are great or higher, and that shouldn't really be a problem. I just need to bring it with me, and then improve the nearby decor. Again, it's just a matter of just building art stuff and so on, and then turn on the lights. So have to give it power. And again, I have power. I just wire it down here, get the hydrogen generator going, and I can get all that done. And I'm not sure what this does. I assume that when I complete all this, I've completed whatever this event is. I have a feeling it just releases a dupe. Like you get the dupe that's inside and you have now an extra dupe. So I'm going to be pretty cautious about number of dupes I take here. I probably would only take 1, knowing that this may be one depending on when I release them. So so those are 2 tasks that are good. Plus this is a good source of natural gas for my grill for making frost burgers. The other thing though is that the gassy moves, when I get that set up, they will be producing natural gas. So perhaps the 6 gassy moves that I plan to have active will produce enough natural gas to supply the gas range with the fuel it needs, and I won't have to make those trips. But if I do, I do. So seem to be able to solve those issues fairly easily overall. So yeah, that's the update for today. Now that I'm back, I'll try and do an update every day if I can, even if they're shorter ones, and it's just keeping people up to speed. Last thing I wanted to say is about oxygen not being included is oxygen sometimes is included, because you can see here there's this canister of oxygen. I'm not sure exactly where they come from or why they have this much volume. I feel it has to do with somehow when I maybe destroy these types of things like atmosuit docks and stuff, and that whatever oxygen's involved gets dumped out. But I find them very often around these. The thing is that I found one today that really surprised me, because I'm not sure how I could have created this. If you look down here, we got this one here. It has 2,700 kilograms. If I am reading that right, 2,700 kilograms. That's a massive amount. Like, that's ear-popping massive amounts of oxygen in a canister. If I were to pop this in my base, there would be so much oxygen in every tile. And all I have to do is just go empty, and a dupe will run over and boom. Because I use these all the time. I'll pick them up and I'll move them to, like, if I find like, oh, I was doing work up here and a lot of oxygen vented in this space, and so it got a little bit weaker here, I'll just run one of those smaller ones over here and pop it, and suddenly just this huge bloom of pure oxygen fills the whole place up. But 2,700 is just insane. Like, I'm almost tempted to just take this over out into space and blast it off like a fireworks display, because it would fill the entire screen with blue oxygen until it dissipates. But I'm not sure exactly where they come from, and I guess I always find them around. Here's another one, always around the atmosuit checkpoints. But again, I'm not sure what creates them. Maybe it's to do with them taking their helmets off or something like that. But this one has been active for a long time, and it is really built up. So I'm going to keep an eye on it and see if it keeps on building up, to see if I can determine how they're being created, because they are quite useful for a very small oxygen storage system. Yeah, here's another one here, and it's got 792 kilograms, which is a large amount of oxygen. If anyone knows where those are coming from or how they're created, like in the system, for how I'm doing things, I'd love to know. Please post in the comments. anyhow, that's the update for today. So if you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe and all that stuff. And thanks for watching.